Hello folks, we're back one more time. Thank you for stopping by the channel here. And you are at Red River KY Farms. And we do a few things here around, or try to real hard. And this is a new adventure if you watched any of the other posts. And we are hour and a half east of Lexington, Kentucky, Wolfe County, Campton area. And this is our first year ever trying to do maple syrup production here. We're getting ready to attempt our first tap ever. A little long for the season, but our first tap, and we're just going to take you along with us. It's currently about 20 degrees out. We got a freeze headed our way, a good cold snap, and then a roller coaster ride. So we're going to attempt to get this thing started, and we're going to take you along with us. And remember, this is not a video on how to. This is a video on how we're going to do, and then we'll mess up. We're going to change, but we'll learn together. Even the dogs are anxious to get started here. So we're at the bottom of the hill. We're near the tank where this is going to be collecting. So this is the end of a run here. And what we have here is a fairly large maple tree. And what we are looking for, got Joe here, is going to be assisting us. Joe, tell everybody hi.
Howdy.
Didn't he look like he was excited to be here? But anyway, this is a fairly large sized tree, and we're looking for the tree to be healthy. And no broken limbs or rot or anything like that. The tree, this size, anything over 20-inch tree, we can put 2 taps into it. If it's an 8-inch tree up to 20, we have 1 tap. 30-inch tree, we could do 3 taps, and we do have a few of them here on the farm. So here goes for the season 2024. Joe is going to explain to us what we're doing. And before Joe does that, if this would be a tree that had been tapped prior years, what we'd be looking for is we wouldn't want to go in the same tap hole. This was our practice one before we went on camera. So this was really our first one. So you're going to see the second one. But anyway, what we would want to do is we'd want to go 4 inches over on either side if this was year 2. And then we'd want to go up 6 inches. So we'd want to stay away from this area right here the following season, as that would be a place where we wouldn't want to tap. And also when we do the tap, our bark shavings that's coming out, what we're looking for is kind of like a white, snowy white sawdust. We don't want dark wood. If we do that, we've done something wrong. So Joe, let's get this thing going here. He's got him a place picked out here, and his drill is going to be about 10-degree angle down. And we got a piece of tape there on our drill bit, and that's about 1.5 inches in with a slight angle. And he's trying not to waller out the hose, going in and out, and that leaves a clean hole. And then we'll take our little spiral or tap, place it in the hole. And what we're listening for here is you'll hear the thing change a little different tap. You can tell when it's seated. Right there you go. We got that thud. That tells us we're in there pretty good. And something else that we're watching out for today as we do our very first ones is it's, again, at 20 degrees. So we want to be careful not to over tap. And there's a chance that when the things start to thaw or things start to move, we may have to come back and tighten some of these up. So it being so cold, we're trying to be cautious. So we're going to go on up the hill here, and we'll catch you on the next one. Okay, here we go on the next one there. Joe's found his place where he's comfortable with. Again, we're going in about 1.5 inches. And we got good looking white bark there seen coming out. Again, where it's really important is when you get into year 2 or 3 or after, making sure we stay away from that old tap hole. There you go. And he goes into, here's the difference in the tone, or I call it the thud, and we're off and running. So we're going to work our way up this line right here, and we'll go over here and knock this one out. Okay, and take this opportunity while he's doing the next tap there. Ask you to go down if you will and hit the subscribe button. The more people we can get to subscribe, the more we can get the word out and kind of learn together as a group as what we're doing. Again, this is not a how-to video. By no means we know what we're doing. We're just learning along the way. And hopefully we'll be able to get a little maple syrup at this. All right. And while we're doing a few of these together, we invite you to go over on our Facebook page. You can find us at Red River Maple Syrup, or you can other page there's Red River Honey and Bees. You can see us in the bee operation as well. See what we do and kind of try to do and all that good stuff. There's the thud. So we're going to work our way up this lateral line. The line here behind us, if you watched any of the other videos, that's right there's what's called a main line. That's a 3/4 line. And that's where all these lateral lines will run into that and then it'll dump into the collection tank. So we're going to work our way up this run here. This main line here is somewhere around 350 feet, I think. The other one is probably 800 feet, I believe. Somewhere in that line. So we're just going to work our way up. So far we have, we think we're in the neighborhood, I think it was 167 drop lines off these lateral lines. We've got another 25 to 30 of them to install, and we may even install some today as we find trees that we forgot to drop a tap on. So you may see us do a little insert of a drop line here. He's on his 4th or 5th tree and he's already acting like a pro. What about that? Those little inserts there where he keeps that tap, that's a kind of a sanitation holder type thing to keep that spout free and clean. What we're trying not to do is introduce any bacteria to the tree itself. The way we understand this, once we give this tree this wound, usually about 6 to 8 weeks is what we'll get out of that before the tree tries to heal itself or closes its wound over itself. It's just kind of like if we get a cut or a boo-boo on us, the body will go into trying to repair that, in the same way with the tree. And you heard the thud there. So we're going to move on to the next one. For example, this here's a tree that's right on the borderline of being 8 inches. So we did not tap it. What we're looking for is anything 8 inches and up. And as we spin around here, here was a nice sugar maple, or it looked it down here. And then we got looking, and probably ice storm damage or something other years ago, and then it's hollowed out. You can see it's got a hollow spot in it. So we didn't tap this one. And the reason being is there a chance that when you go to tap, and if the inside has got a rotten spot or something like that, this tap can suck air and it'll mess with our vacuum. So we chose not to tap this tree, and we'll go right here to this next one here he's doing. There you go. All right, Joe is now going into goat mode. Okay, another good point here is they say if you can tap on the sunny side of the tree, you're going to get the tap run or sap running quicker. So some of these trees we're pulling in the right direction. But as the years go, you know that it's not going to always happen that way. So there he is. And again, that's a special drill bit. That's to help get the sawdust out of the hoe and give you a good clean. And there's that thud we're looking for. While we're watching Joe work here, if anybody's out there is interested in beekeeping or purchasing bees, we got orders on there for taking orders for nukes in the spring. So if you're interested, you can go over and check that out. They're usually dependent on the weather, mid-May to late May. Usually they're ready. So if you're interested in that, you can check them out at Red River Honey and Bees on Facebook. We'll welcome that sun. It's a little nippy when that wind blows. There's our thud. As Joe gets to the top of the line here, it's got a couple more trees, but you can see here, this is the end line, end of this lateral line. It just wraps around that line and hooks. So we'll tap this tree here, and this here will be the start of a line going down, lateral line going down. As you kind of peek down through there, there are more trees that's marked that we don't have lateral lines on. I think they're close to 20 right here, if I counted right. Some of these trees that are 8 inches and larger, we're going to put buckets on them, and I'll show you up here at the next main line how we'll transfer that sap down to the collection tank. So that's our first lateral line here on the farm, 2024. It is January the something other. All I know is 20 degrees with the wind. So we'll meet you right around the corner here. Here's one that don't have a lateral line on it that we was going to bucket, and we still may do it, but we notice we get right on up the tree, and we've got a large tap hoe. I'm going to say it's about 2 inches or 1.5 inches. I don't know if you can see it there in the video. But a woodpecker has decided to tap maple trees here in Kentucky also. So, daggone that woodpecker. This tree here is real huge at the bottom here. And it actually comes up, and it's got 4 trees coming off of it. And we have decided that we're going to tap 3 of the 4. Again, not going over our 3 tap limit on any tree. And again, this is the end tree also. This starts another lateral line. Here's something here that's kind of interesting here. We've got a maple tree right here that Joe's getting ready to tap. But if you look right down here at the bottom of it, this here is a hickory and a maple. It's kind of growed up together here, so that's kind of unique. Another piece of advice that I would recommend for anybody that's never done this before, as we're learning together, is making sure that you get out and mark your maple trees when they're easy to identify. Once them leaves are gone, unless you know what you're really looking at, they all can kind of run together if you're not a tree expert like I am. So Joe has kind of assisted in getting us marked here late fall, come through and kind of tagged everything for us. Fixed the ones that we had marked that wasn't maple trees even. So that's a one pointer I would note down into my note card there. Well, Joe's working his way back down on this run. We're headed back down. We keep going straight the way we're walking right here. That'll take us back down to where we left the buggy in the middle of the road. So we're on line number 2, going back down. As we kind of intertwine around here, there's a nice big maple. Joe, that one right there, and folks out there watching, I don't know if I'd tap that one, Joe, or not. I did a drop on it, and as you look up here, I did not notice, but it's got some damage right here, more than likely from prior ice storm. Maybe we're not going to tap that one just in case there's something wrong with it. Again, what that does for us, if it goes in there and it's hollow or rotten inside, and you tap it, that's going to allow air to suck into our lines, and that's going to mess with our vacuum and make us lose some vacuum. So once we get into a production flow, what we will be doing, we'll actually be walking these lines on a regular basis, and we'll be looking for trees to knock them down. We'll be looking for these spouts that work their way out of the tree. Again, with the thawing and the freezing back and forth, there's a chance that they could work themselves back out. Our biggest problem that we're going to have is with squirrels. Squirrels will want to come up and chew on the line and put a hole in it, and once they do that, that creates that vacuum leak, and that will mess with our production numbers as well. So we'll have to check these lines from time to time. We will have problems with the deers and the squirrels, and tree limbs are falling, all that stuff. So the better the vacuum, the more production we're going to get from these lines. Okay, as we come to the end of a lateral line that's getting ready to tie into the main line, we'll show you this here again. I think we showed it in one of the prior videos. But this basically, this here's the other end of that last line we started. This is a short run kind of, but let me get this here out of the way. You can see that little green clip there. This hooks to our high tension wire, and this holds pressure on that lateral line that helps us stretch it out along the trees. And there's a little short jumper that ties off this and comes into this saddle. So that saddle's tied to that 3/4 inch line. So the vacuum that we pull off this run, it'll meet right here into the 3/4 main line and down to our collection tank that we'll take a look at the bottom of the hill when we get back down there. Don't let that sun fool you, it's still cold. Here we are on another end line of our lateral line. This is line number 3. So Joe is taking off here, and we're going to work our way down this maze of tubing down to the main line wherever it ties in at. But we're fortunate here to have the slope of the mountains to help us with our vacuum. Some places out where the land is flat, basically they have to run vacuum pumps to help pull the product to the bottom of the collection point. Here with the slope that we have, there's some places here that we've got 75 to 125 foot drops from one end to the other. So with this 3/16 tubing and with the terrain that we do have, using that to our advantage will help move this sap along. Okay, as Joe's here is tapping away, you can just see here what kind of terrain we got. That zigzags around those two, and you can see the drop off here. Right around the edge. And back down, I think that line feeds across the road if I'm not mistaken. Okay, folks, and here's some things that I'm sure we'll be faced with, as everybody else is, in the season here. We come along this line here, we found out that we had a tree across the line. And Joe has a remedy for that. But the way this is, these lines just basically wrap beside the tree with tension on them, and that holds them up. So you can see it's knocked down here in a couple of routes. So this tree right here has gave away. We did have some strong winds come through the other night, and I'm sure that helped. But what we will have to do is just cut this off to get our lines free. And then all we do is grab a hold of the line and we just basically pull it back in place just so we get our right slope. So we're going to get a different angle here and get to it. He's going to go ahead, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but he's going to go ahead and take this one out. It's about to fall. So he's going to go ahead and drop it before it takes up this line again. Timber. Okay, here's a tree that I missed a tapping opportunity. It looks healthy up there. I tapped the one beside it. So we're going to add a drop line here. We use a two-handed tool. It looks something like this. And all you do is clamp it on here, pull the little vice grip dudes down. It's got a built-in cutter here. That's okay. I just don't like it. I use these. So I just take, with that down in place, we're going to cut the line there. We're going to cut the line there. We're going to put that in the pocket so it don't end up on the ground. And we're going to grab our drop line we've already got made up here. And basically all we do is, it's going to be a little colder today where the weather is, and what we're going to do is just kind of maybe get this end started, because it takes 3 hands for a two-handed tool. And squeeze it together like that, and I'll get out of the way once I get it started. And once you do, you just take and push that together like so. Flip them open, and now we have a drop line ready to go into that tree. Okay, here we are. We're over on the larger main line. This main line here runs all the way to the collection tank. This is about, I think, 800 to 850 feet. I can't remember. But anyway, this main line at the top here, we run this up and we put this on a stainless steel 3/4 valve. Run over to our Redneck 5-gallon food grade bucket. And the purpose of this is we're going to be running some trees off bags or buckets. And this will be a drop point so we can just come over here and empty. All we do is come over here, take the lid off, flip our handle down, throw it in there. It's just like a funnel. So when we're not using it. Okay, we're down here to where our next little episode is, or task, whatever you call it. This is our ladder line. This is a little short run. It's got less than 10 taps on it, I believe. But anyway, this ties off here to our high tension wire. And this has got this little extension on it. So what we're going to do is just kind of measure around like so. And what I do is usually put my glasses on first. But I'll try to do like a little starter hoe here. We want to be careful not to drill all the way through the pipe. I do that just to make me a little starter hoe, then I go up to the right size drill bit. And I cannot remember the size it requires, but it requires a certain size. And if I had my glasses on, I'd tell you, but I don't. Starting to get colder, so we're trying to hurry up so we can get done for the evening. See how smooth that's going, don't you? Okay, now this is a fairly large size hose, so we want to be careful not to go all the way through our pipe. We just want to go through the top part. Like so. Real fast, clean cut. And this here is our saddle. And the way this works, it's got a little rubber boot in here. We're going to take that off. We're going to put that down in our hoe. It fits snug. like so. We're going to pull this wire away from us, and then we're going to make sure that our spout tap here is on the opposite side, so when it loops back around we can tie into it. We may have to cut that wire here. Okay, we went ahead and cut that wire there, that get it out of the way to give us a little bit more room to work here. Everything's good and cold, so we're wanting this to seat in the hole. We're going to break down how to put our glasses on. I think we're there. I just can't see. Okay, now what we can do is actually just take, and you can hear this thing click, and it'll hold here a little bit. It'll kind of ratchet itself together. And then we've got these special made screws that hold this together. They look something like this. That in the washer. And then on the opposite side, it's got a place where this will rest into. So what we will do is leave our washer on this side, run this through, and out the other side here. And this is going to be hard to see, but this is going to rest over here in this little slot. We'll get it started, then I'll try to get my thumbs out of the way. And once we get it started, we'll just kind of clip it up here a little bit. See how easy that is? I can't see with my hands in the way. Okay, we kind of got it started. We're still seated good. Now what we will do is take our Phillips bit on our drill, and we'll kind of cinch it down a little bit, and they'll start clicking. And that's tight enough. So we got a good seat here. Should be no leaks, no air leaks. And then at this point, we will take our tubing and kind of slide it on like so. And you could wrestle it on if you wanted to, or we can take our little two-handed tool, and we'll clamp it on right here, and we'll just use it to help push that up on there and seat it on there. Should be going nowhere now. So now our ladder line will feed into here, through our saddle and into our main line. Okay, now what we'll do is take some of our wire ties here. We'll kind of wrap around it here, and it's got a place here for this wire to rest. My thumbs and fingers are probably in the way. I'm on the wrong side probably. And then we'll just loop it around. Use our little device, don't know the correct name. We'll tighten tension on that. And that'll kind of support that. I'll get that back out, and we'll put another one. Okay, and we'll do this side, hopefully. Again, I don't know the proper name of that tool, but we'll just tighten it down. And that'll kind of help support that. Should be going nowhere. We'll go ahead and put a couple more here where we cut off one or two, and we'll get it close to where we're tying and just kind of give it a couple of turns, and should be going nowhere. We'll put two more on it, and then we'll quit. Okay, we'll just put it right here next to the adapter. A couple of turns. That's it. So now we're ready for our ladder line to feed over into here, into our main line, and hopefully downstream. Okay, folks, we're down at the bottom of the hill at the collection tank, one of them anyway, but basically our main line runs down to here. We've got this hole cut in our cap. We got it secured. Did a little fancy black tape job there to get the water to drip away from our tank, but we're going to wrap it up for today. Glad you came out our way. I hope you enjoyed it. This is our first time ever attempting to do maple syrup. As we get closer here with Mother Nature, things are starting to go that way. So that's all for today. Again, go over to Red River Maple Syrup on the Facebook page, or you can check us out on the honeybee site on Red River Honey and Bees. So please subscribe, help us get the word out, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.